Thank you so much for joining us in here, both in person here at the Tateuchi Democracy Forum at JANM, as well as virtually online on Zoom. My name is Elizabeth Morikawa. I work in public programs here at the Japanese American National Museum. And on behalf of JANM, I wanted to welcome you all to the 12th annual Imagine Little Tokyo Short Story Contest award ceremony. This is one of my favorite programs to work in partnership with the Little Tokyo Historical Society, as well as Discover NIKKEI, a project of JANM. So I'm very excited for the program that we're going to have today. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to the Imagine Little Tokyo co-chairs, Naomi Hirahara and Nia Iwataki.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming out. As a novelist, I wanted to say three things. One, that it's an accomplishment just to finish any kind of creative work. So for those of you who may be Zooming in and maybe submitted a short story, congratulations, because that's a huge accomplishment. Number two, we're here to celebrate excellence. And we're here to encourage. And number three, there's a close relationship between writing as well as performance. So I love this particular program because not only is it bilingual, but we're also have performance actors here. So it's a wonderful partnership.
That was the intellectual part of the introduction. So once there were 43 little Tokyos, Nihonmachis, and J-towns, and today there's only 3. Last year we were designated one of the 11 most endangered places in the United States by the National Historic Preservation. But we are survivors. We have that Issei fighting spirit. And we know that we have to fight, and we can fight by writing. And we want to tell our stories, share our history, honor our legacy, and keep the spirit of Little Tokyo alive. We're really, really lucky to have today Christopher Sean as our illustrious MC. He's a versatile working actor known for his captivating performances on both the big and small screens. You've seen him on popular shows such as Hawaii Five-0. He was the villain, Gabriel Waincroft, that we all hated. He's been on You, NCIS LA, and Days of Our Lives, where he played the role of Paul Narita with over 340 episodes. Christopher has also made his mark on the performance capture world. I had to look that one up. He appeared as DC's Nightwing in Gotham Knights and Kazuda Ziono in Star Wars, where he was the first Asian American lead in Star Wars. You can see his most recent works on Netflix's 4-time Annie-nominated feature film, Ultraman Rising, where he stars as Ultraman Ken Sato, which opens on June 14th. We're so lucky. Please give it up for Christopher Sean.
Check, check. Hey, everybody. Thank you all for being here. This is going to be fun. All right, so 12 years ago, folks in Little Tokyo Historical Society imagined a short story contest that would celebrate, uplift, and invite people into the world of Little Tokyo. The response was overwhelming. In the inaugural year, I got it right this time, inaugural, I got it. The inaugural year, 65 people sent in stories about family gatherings, from China Meshi at Far East Cafe, historical sagas, tragedies, and love stories, and futuristic fantasies. The Imagine Little Tokyo Short Story Contest was born. The next year, a Japanese language category was added, and the following year, a youth category. Now, popular actors were invited to read. They're over there, they're beautiful, all of them. They were invited to read the winning stories, and this added value for the writers and brought more attention to the contest. Today, Imagine Little Tokyo and JANM's Discover NIKKEI have developed a great partnership, further growing the audience and opportunities. Now, another goal of Imagine Little Tokyo is to inspire people to write. Writing workshops focusing on Little Tokyo are offered to encourage folks to tell their stories. In January, a workshop was held at Mikasa for elementary school children who live in Little Tokyo. An award-winning director and writer, Paul Daisuke Goodman, No Girl, and an award-winning mystery writer, Naomi Hirahara, members of Imagine Little Tokyo, led this workshop. A Japanese language writing workshop was led by Little Tokyo Historical Society's Bradley Hammond, using Little Tokyo Florist as a story setting. Slide? No? All right. Even during the pandemic years, Imagine Little Tokyo continued forward with virtual award celebrations, which actually tripled our audience and drew in viewers from across the country and the world who joined via Zoom. So thank you all for joining today as well. And shout out to all of you for making it here today and everyone online. I jumped the gun there. Shout out to you guys again. All right. So the winning author in each category, youth, adult, and Japanese language, you're going to receive a certificate and a cash prize of not $100, not $200, but $500. Give it up. All right, let's get started, shall we? First up, we have the youth category. Now, this year we have submissions from authors as young as 8 years old to 17 years old. Our young writers came from as far as India, Nigeria, Malaysia, from Brooklyn, New York to Fairhope, Alabama, Ohio, and Minnesota, and throughout California. Reading teams reviewed the submissions, and the top 10 stories were forwarded to a panel of judges. And the judges for the youth category are Sharon Fujimoto Johnson is a fourth-generation Japanese American, a children's book author, illustrator of The Mochi Makers, a gentle and joyous storytelling treat that celebrates family and tradition. Her new book is Shell Song, inspired by family history and seashells that her grandfather collected in a Japanese-American incarceration camp in Hawaii during World War II. Beautiful. Next, we have Yoko Hata, who was born in Chiba, graduated from Tohoku Medical and Pharmaceutical University. She married and moved to Los Angeles, became a librarian, and worked as a young adult and children's librarian at the Little Tokyo Library. She is now an adult librarian in the International Languages Department at the Central Library. Give some love to Yoko, yeah! You won't have to do that for everyone, I promise. Let's just do it for now. Carmela Tornick, born and raised in Pasadena, works as an outdoor educator, birth doula, and a preschool teacher. That's amazing. That's awesome. When her home and employment were devastated by the Eaton fires earlier this year, she sprung into action by creating children's books for Altadena to give books back to children in her community who have lost their school and or home, to promote literacy, creativity within the community. That's beautiful. Now, please, let's give her a round of applause. That's beautiful. Now, a number of stories from all categories reference the devastating Eaton and Altadena fires. In support of the survivors, Imagine Little Tokyo and Discover NIKKEI are donating a gift basket of young adult books to Carmela's Children Books for Altadena. Now, a basket will be given to Carmela. There were so many well-written stories. Yes. There are so many well-written stories that that the judges advocated for an honorable mention. Although the honorable mention stories are not going to be read here, they will be published in Discover NIKKEI for you all to enjoy. Now, the honorable mention for the youth category is The Strongest Community, written by Dean Inokuchi. Dean is 14, finishing 8th grade, and has lived in the South Bay his entire life. He plays trumpet in his school marching band, and he's in the audience today, so let's give a shout out to Dean Inokuchi. Dean, stand up and wave, my friend. Where you at? There he is. That's a trumpet player right there, and a winner. The winning stories are going to be brought to life through dramatic readings by working actors. Rosie Narasaki. She's going to be reading the youth story, the winning youth story. Rosie is a second-generation actor and playwright. Her theater highlights include This Is Not a True Story and 2 Mile Hollow with Artists at Play, and Little Women with Playwrights Arena. She also appeared in Shameless, Wisdom of the Crowd, Insecure, and TV commercials. As a playwright, her play Unrivaled recently had its world premiere with the Boston Court Playhouse and Playwrights Arena. It was workshopped and won the 2022 LA New Play Project Award. That's huge. Congratulations. The winning youth story is My Time with You by Josephine Takiguchi. An incoming junior at Granada Hills Charter High School, Josephine joined the San Fernando Valley Japanese American Community Center, where she played basketball and volunteered in many cultural events. She was a member of the LAUSD Superintendent's Student Advisory Council, lending her voice on improving student experience. Now this year, she participated in the 21st Rising Stars Youth Leadership Program, engaging in leadership, networking, and setting foundations for the future. Josephine has also founded a nonprofit for food allergy awareness. This is amazing. And advocates for those with food allergies like her. And she comes from a big family and enjoys spending time with them. And now you're a winner in your family. Well done, well done. So now I'd love to bring up the youth judges, Sharon Fujimoto Johnson and Yoko Hata and Carmela Tornik, to talk about why they selected My Time Is With You, followed by Rosie Narasaki's reading of the winning story. Awesome. Come on up.
Okay, sure. So can I speak? Okay. Hi, I'm Yoko. And I really enjoy reading their writing because they are so beautiful and a lot of imagination, and they showed deep a connection to Little Tokyo. So please don't stop writing. Please keep writing. Your writing and imagination can inspire so many people. Thank you. Congratulations and おめでとうございます。
Yoko, Carmela, and I were humbled and honored to read each of the finalist entries in the youth category. Each of the entries brought something special, whether an authentic glimpse into Little Tokyo, a beautiful poetic voice, suspenseful pacing, an imaginative futuristic world, or an epic historical scope. I want to first of all acknowledge the efforts of each of the young writers who submitted their work for this contest. It takes courage, creative drive, and hard work to put one's words down on paper, and an extra dose of courage to share one's work with the world at any age, but perhaps especially as a young writer. I know because years ago I was young too. Young writers, I want you to know, all of you are already storytellers and poets and imaginers and magic makers. I hope you'll continue to share your gifts with the world throughout your lives. The winning story in the youth category, My Time With You by Josephine Takiguchi, moved our hearts with its quiet tribute to the ones with whom we wish we could share time forever. With its strong pacing, thematic rhythm, and depth of human emotions, this story invited us into a Little Tokyo that felt familiar, through a family that felt familiar, like our own families. The simple weekly rhythms of this family with roots deep in Little Tokyo demonstrate how our elders and our younger generations are woven together across time through shared meals, traditions, and stories. And in fact, these same simple rhythms are the golden threads in the fabric that holds together this community, Little Tokyo. I'll try my best to stick around, the beloved grandfather says in this story, and it is especially this moment that reminds us that time with our loved ones is indeed precious. Time with the ones whose hands we hold through time. Time with the ones who hold recipes, traditions, and history in their memory. Time with the ones who are trying their best to hold on to time. Thank you, Josephine, for writing this story that allows us to imagine a little Tokyo in which our hearts hold the poignant, fleeting nature of each moment we share, in which my time with you, whoever I am, whoever you are, is precious. Thank you and congratulations.
Mondays, Mama and Papa. Every week, that was always the routine. Ever since I was a little girl, Monday was the day to spend with Mama and Papa. Not Grandma and Grandpa, not just Mama or just Papa, Mama and Papa. Nothing about Mama and Papa has changed since I was little. The large house, the tall driveway, the big pool in the backyard next to the looming hills sprouting kaki and nashi pears, or the cupboard stacked with fugetsudo mochi. Every Monday, same routine. As the world around us changed, time continued to tick. Time continues to tick and tick and tick, but not with Mamu and Papa. Time. Another one of the many things that never changed about Mamu and Papa. Time and time again, Monday rolls around and we all gather to enjoy Mamu's home-cooked tonkatsu and tsunomono. My mom asks Papa how his back is feeling as Mamu wears her same bright blue apron in the kitchen to listen to her opera and make more tsukemono appetizers. So, Dad, how's your back feeling? My mom says, reaching over to grab a slice of tonkatsu. It's good, Papa says, pouring tonkatsu sauce over his plate. Went to the doc the other day to check it out. Everything's normal. That's great. My brother and I quietly slice our food, listening to the chatter amongst everyone else. The same routine, conversations, and catch-up small talk. Mama has changed the radio station to basketball and turned it on the TV. The Los Angeles Lakers are playing. Mama and Papa have loved basketball ever since their youth. Raising my dad and uncle, they managed his basketball team to watch them grow up and play. Papa was the coach, and Mama always prepared the refreshments for the game. Following in their footsteps, my parents now help with me and my brother's basketball team. My dad is the coach, and my mom helps bring the snacks. Basketball is a big part of our lives. Of course, basketball was our sport. Since the moment my brother and I could run, we were playing basketball every Sunday for the JA League, Japanese American League. As time continued to tick, we were starting to play more games. Sunday was always game day, and game day was always at Terasaki Budokan. I was never a star player for basketball, and my brother was always better than me. I only went to the games for the sake of my teammates and our after-the-game walk to Marukai Market, or a quick brunch at Cafe Dolce. Mamu and Papa were always at my games. I'd be sitting on the player bench the entirety of the game, and they never left. Time and time again. Mamu and Papa always watched my games. One day after one of my games, my parents left me with Mamu and Papa to spend the day with them. I picked up my oversized basketball game that made me look like a floating head from the back and walked over to where Mamu and Papa sat on the bleachers. Mamu, sitting with her book, and Papa, with his bulky, fall-proof iPad, got up from the bleachers and made their way over to me. "Mamu and Papa! Hey!" I exclaimed, speeding up the pace. "Hey there, kiddo. Nice game today," says Mamu, nodding her head with that same sweet smile she always wears. "Ready to go?" asks Papa. "Yeah, let's head out. Where are we going next?" I say, beaming with excitement. We walk out the door and head down the sidewalk, back to the parking lot. I grab Mamu and Papa's hand as we walk slowly together, one step at a time. We arrive in front of the Weller Court and pass by the Kizuna Friendship Knot on our way to find something quick to eat. After a few loops around the plazas, we decided we wanted red bean manju, Papa's favorite. Mama suggests we make our way over to a quieter, more peaceful spot to enjoy our manjus. Papa and I nod our heads in agreement while, in reality, the only thing in our heads is that sweet, delectable red dessert. Since the beginning of our walk, I haven't let go of Mamu and Papa's hands. The only time was to allow Mamu to pick up the bags with the red bean manju. Hey, let's take a break here. I'm getting a little tired, kiddo. The walk has been pretty long, Papa sighs, coming up to a stop. Okay, we'll rest here, I say, nodding my head as Papu lets go of my hand to pull up a chair to sit under the shady aoyama tree. Mama, who was a few steps ahead, turned around after noticing our footsteps weren't trailing anymore. Gosh, you guys could have given me a warning before I started walking too far, Mamu complained, swinging her arm up out of frustration. She slumps back over to the table, Papa grinning a sly smile. Okay, now what's that face for? Stop laughing at me. Am I not allowed to smile at my wife? Smile at me again and you betcha no red bean manju, Mamu says as she swipes the plastic thank you bag from behind the chair. Papu leans back and chuckles. I watch the two of them, happy to be here, happy to be with them. For a moment, time comes to a brief yet long halt. I sit at this old, still bench next to two people who have been my life from the start. I'm used to this reminiscent feeling by now. I enjoy my time with them. We all bite into our manjus. Papa begins to tell stories after we all eat, and I've been folding origami with Mamu. We have many conversations about time in the war, and afterwards we visit the Aratani movie theater to watch a movie. We watch a movie and I notice a wall of people's names I've never seen before. In gold, I read Mamu and Papa's names out loud. Mamu and Papa then talk about how they met at this theater for their first date after college, and they both made the donation to get their names placed on the wall. They got their names on there because even to this day, their names signify that they are still together in the same moment of time, as if they never actually left. When we finish eating, we make our way past the Hall of Greenery toward the Go for Broke monuments with the list of people's names. I walk around and Papa shares stories of his time in the war, memories, and moments. We talk about his childhood, how he remembers driving away from his house and watching the looters raid his home as he drove farther and farther. He talks about his sister being born in the horse stall there because of the conditions and how hard it was for him to leave behind his home and other friends. Mamu doesn't remember because she was too young, but her recollection was of packing her things, and she loved her red fancy coat dress. She even wore that little fancy red coat dress in one of her pictures in the internment camps. Her same bright, sweet smile and short black hair. I check my phone and realize it's getting close to the time we were supposed to return home. We absorb one last look at the monument and walk back to the car. On the car ride home, we all sing songs together and laugh about our adventures around Little Tokyo. Time is all mine. Nothing can interrupt this endless moment. When we return to Mamu and Papa's house, my parents are there to pick me up. In the car, I watch the trees and buildings zoom by and my eyes fall heavy and close. Tomorrow is Monday. The school bell rings, and I walk to the car to catch a ride home. Once home, I pack my homework and head to the car. Today is Monday. Mamu meets me at the bottom of the steps, and we tend to her garden at the front. We all gathered around to enjoy Mamu's home-cooked tonkatsu and tsunomono. Mom asks how Papa's back is feeling, and Mamu is in the kitchen. Same routine. While we eat, Papa brings up the topic of college, and we discuss what I plan to do for my future, which is weird because I never would have considered him to be interested in that sort. When dinner ends, I help bring the dishes to the sink and put things away. Papa comes up to me after dinner, which isn't part of our routine. I normally don't talk to him apart from dinner on Mondays. He looks up at me. I won't be here much longer, but I'll try my best to stick around to watch you graduate from college. Catching me off guard, I process what he says. For the first time in my life, as I stared at Papa, time started to move differently. Instead of Mamu and Papa, it was my surroundings in the outside world that seemed to stay still and freeze for a moment, and I stared at my time as my time with Mamu and Papa flashed before my eyes. For the first time in my life, I could see the way they aged. I noticed the missing gray hairs that used to fill the top of his head and the glasses that changed as his eyesight got worse. I noticed the creases under his eyes and the corner of his sweet smile that couldn't reach as high up on his face as it used to. I noticed Mamu's hair had gotten shorter and lighter. I noticed how much slower they walk, how their hearing has worsened. I noticed how my mom's normal question about Papa's back wasn't such a normal question anymore. I finally realized I'm not their little girl anymore. I'm not their little girl who could barely reach the top of my table with my mini pink chopsticks. I'm not their little girl with her high-pitched voice singing in the car ride with them anymore. I'm not their little girl who fits right into their laps anymore and they can tuck me in and read me bedtime stories. And as I stared at Papa, I thought to myself, for the first time in my life, I had realized that I was running out of my time with you. That's the end.
That was beautiful. Man, oh man. So, Josephine Takiguchi, can we have you come down? Can we have you come down and take some photos? This is our youth winning writer, Josephine Takiguchi. Bill Watanabe is going to come out, my friend here, and he's going to present her an award. Oh, you want to say a few words, please? Sorry, say a few words first. My fault.
Okay. Hello, my name is Josephine Takiguchi. Sorry. I would just like to say thank you to the judges. Sorry, it's just hard because they're in the audience right now. It's such an honor, and I say this with great pride, that among all the submissions, my story symbolized and captured this year's judges. And although I am beyond grateful, writing this story was never really for the reward or the scholarship. It was for Mamu and Papa, who are actually here right now. Since I was little, I always loved to make them crafts and gifts and handmade cards, and I always loved to see their proud and happy look on their faces, and how they were always there for me, even if it was just for a short minute. And I think that writing this story allowed me to express it all in one, and how much they really mean to me. So the significance of Mondays in my story really reflects how what most people would consider a routine or everyday moment forms itself into such a meaningful, almost holiday for me, where I get to look forward to seeing them every week, even if nothing changes. Growing up, Mamo and Papa always had a few newspapers out. The LA Times, the La Italia for Mamu's love of Italy, and of course, the Rafu Shimpo. So when I learned that this story would be published in the Rafu, I was so determined to get this story done, knowing that there's the slight chance that I would win and get published, but more importantly, that one day they'll read about how much they mean to me in the Rafu Shimpo. I was quite skeptical, which is why I didn't even have my parents read my short story until I won. I was surprised, to say the least, and my parents couldn't be prouder. However, the real prize for me is knowing that there is some form of permanence and declaration beyond what I could write in my handmade cards, that now my Mamu and Papa are forever memorialized in a story that started out as my everyday thoughts to getting published in the newspapers that they get to read in the very same dining room that we are at every Monday. Sorry. I'm really honored and extremely grateful for the opportunity that the Imagine Little Tokyo Short Story Contest has given me, and I am so happy that I stumbled upon this chance to pay tribute to everything that they do for me, while also highlighting the stories about Japanese American heritage that they've shared with me over the years. I really hope that this program reaches many more young and eager writers, and again, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Hey, come on back down. We're going to get you some money. All right. Bill him out, everybody. The person who is giving us his generous $500.
Josephine, on behalf of the Imagine Little Tokyo Short Story Writing Contest Committee, I'd like to congratulate you and thank you for sharing your talent and insights with all of us. I gotta say, when I was your age, I was totally oblivious to everything, and my only concern was how to deal with the pimples on my face. But do you have a checking account? Because we do. I don't know if you're old enough to have a checking account, but anyway, the certificate and a $500 check for you. Congratulations. We're going to take a photo.
Congratulations. Next, we're going to move on to the Japanese language stories. Now, we have a prestigious panel of judges in this category. We are honored to welcome Tomoyuki Yamagata, who is Counsel for General Affairs and Public Relations, Consulate General of Japan in Los Angeles since October 2024. And prior to this position, he serves as the cultural attaché at the Embassy of Japan in Mexico and political attaché at the Embassy of Japan in Paraguay. In Tokyo, he has held positions in the divisions of policy planning, exchange programs, and consular policy. He received an MA in International Relations from San Pablo CEO University in Madrid, Spain, and also studied at the Tokyo University of Foreign Studies, Faculty of Spanish Studies. Let's give him a round of applause, everybody. We also have Yasuko Uchida, has served as the director of the Japan Foundation, LA, since 2020, developing a wide range of programs and grants supporting Japanese language education and cross-cultural program presentations. Now, before coming to the United States, she served as director of educational training at the Japan Foundation Japanese Language Institute in Kansai and master of the ceremony at the Imperial Household Agency. It's amazing stuff. Her overseas experiences include Japan Foundation in Bangkok, Thailand, and Sydney, Australia. Let's give it up for Yasuko. And we have Naoyuki Ikeda. He's an award-winning Japanese film actor and a director-producer. He's a director of Japan Film Festival, Los Angeles, an executive of Asian World Film Festival, and a radio personality at TJS Radio in Los Angeles. He was born and raised in Nagoya, Japan, and after 13 years teaching English, Naoyuki moved to LA to study acting and is currently studying with Ivana Chubbuck, a very famous name. Film credits include American Hikikomori, Another Yesterday, String, We Said No, No, and Good Morning LA. Let's give it up for Naoyuki. Hey! And this year we are extremely fortunate to welcome popular actor Toshiji Takeshima. He's going to be reading our Japanese language winning story. He's a Japanese-born actor based in Los Angeles. His film work includes Sniper, Grit, G-R-I-T, Yakuza Princess on Netflix, We Said No, No When I'm a Moth, and The Wreck. This is best short at Cannes and New York Short Film Festival. On television, that's just movies. On television, he has played Inspector Kento Mori in NCIS Hawaii, Yakuza boss Nozawa in SWAT, and appeared in MacGyver Hawaii 5-0, True Blood, and How to Make It in America on HBO. He was a series regular as General Daichi in The Forgotten Army, Amazon Prime, and Samurai Hero Ryuichi in Greece on HBO. His theatrical credits, I'm going down this list now. His theatrical credits include Dojoji, Pan-Asian Rep, Shanghai Gesture, The Irish Rep, Honor, on Prospect, A Streetcar Named Desire, Cherry Pit, director Austin Pendleton, as Stanley, The King and I on Broadway, Palm, and The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle, Edinburgh International Film Festival, Singapore Arts. A trained martial artist. This is what blew me away, because I started training with swords, and I'm like, I can barely cut a steak well. And this guy, he really knows what he's doing. A trained martial artist, Toshiji specializes in iaido, real sword katas, tate, Japanese sword choreography, and hand-to-hand combat, performing his own stunts. A former member of Japan's national whitewater rafting team, ranked 8th in the world, and he brings athleticism and precision to his craft. Let's give him a round of applause. I have 2 more pages of his resume, but I'm not going to read those. We're just going to move on. The winning Japanese story is To the Frontier via Little Tokyo, written by Ushio Aoi, a Shin Issei Japanese American who immigrated to the United States with her parents as a child. Living in California for over 20 years, she enjoys creative activities such as arts and crafts and writing while studying English. Her experiences struggling with language made her realize the importance of communication, and this motivated her creative work. She publishes original novels in Japanese and fan art on her online gallery. Check that out. There's a link. Click it here. I'm kidding. Come on. Now, please welcome our Japanese judges.
Hello everyone, my name is Yasuko Uchida from the Japan Foundation Los Angeles. I served as the chair for the Japanese category. It is a great honor to be involved in the Imagine Little Tokyo short story contest. This year, we received the 10 entries in the Japanese category. Each story depicted encounters, farewells, overcoming difficulties, and growing or accepting challenges in Little Tokyo. From these wonderful submissions, we selected the most experimental and thrilling future novel, Machi kara Michi e, in English, To the Frontier via Little Tokyo, by Aoi Ushio-san, as the award-winning work. The protagonist who moved to Mars as a child returned to his hometown of Little Tokyo. There, he reflects on his experiences as an immigrant on Mars and the experiences of his grandmother and parents as Japanese immigrants. He contemplates many difficulties and successes as well as war, and finally enters Janom here as the final destination for his journey. The parallel worlds of the past from Japan to America and the story the parallel worlds of the past from Japan to America and the present from Earth to Mars coexist beautifully, and the story progresses in a light-hearted tone throughout, making it an exciting read until the end. Now to honorable mention award-winning work, Sakura. This is a novel about a person who watches over those dying in Little Tokyo. It depicts complex themes such as homelessness, illness, religion, and Japanese Americans with restrained and tense writing. It was a disappearing, yet beautiful story that left a lasting impression. I heard that this is the 12th time a short story contest themed around Little Tokyo has been held. I sincerely respect the passion and efforts of the organizers who initiated and continued this valuable endeavor to unearth the memories of the town and weave them into the future. I hope that the people here today will also get involved by creating their own works or helping with the organization. I pray that Little Tokyo will continue to develop as an increasingly attractive town. Thank you very much.
So they gave us just 4 minutes. So I'm just making it short. So as an actor, when I read, those kind of stories, there's so many, the vivid images come up, and it feels like, oh, I want to make a movie from just, stories, and hopefully, someday it's gonna come happen. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much, and all the, the people who write those, the adult, the Japanese category, or the, you got the author, you are the winner. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to say that to express our sincere respect for those who are involved in this contest, those who make this contest happen, starting from organizers, judges, technicians, advisors, actors, audience, and also for those who are not here but who worked behind the scene. We would like to pay tribute to them. Thank you very much.
街から未知へ To the frontier by a little Tokyo LAX に宇宙港が開設されてからもう1世紀近くも経つらしい。地球火星間を2日と10時間で結ぶ定期シャトルは週に2便。俺は数年ぶりに訪れた地球で1週間の滞在を満喫する予定だった。アメリカ合衆国カリフォルニア州は地球を凝縮したような地質と多彩な文化を体験できる行楽地として異性からの旅行者にも人気の観光名所だ。俺は短い休暇を最大限に楽しむべく連れの友人と共に綿密な計画を立ててきた。手始めにロングビーチの水族館で神秘的な海洋生物に魅了され、砂浜に打ち寄せる波を裸足で堪能した俺たちは、ビッグベア山でスノーボードに挑戦し、森に囲まれたロッジでは満天の星空から火星を探し当てた。モハーベ砂漠で砂丘によじ登る頃には、軽いホームシックにかかっていた。最終日の朝、俺たちはロサンゼルス近郊に戻ってきた。帰りのシャトルの発車時刻は夕方5時。旅先での予期せぬハプニングに備えて、半日の自由時間を確保しておいたのさ。友人はしばしの別れを告げてハリウッドまで足を伸ばした。あいつは火星生まれ火星育ちのくせに宇宙開発黎明期だった頃の地球の SF が好きなんだ。ウォーク・オブ・フェームで作家のジーン・ロッテンベリや俳優レナード・ニモイのプレートを見物してから俺と合流して寿司屋に向かう予定だ。ジョージ・タケイが俳優仲間を泣かせたというわさびに挑戦したいんだとさ。単身バスに乗り込んだ俺は車窓越しの空を見上げた。南カリフォルニアの開放的な空と太陽は俺の育った火星に似ている。違うのは遥か頭上でヤシの葉が海からの風にそよいで手招いていることくらいか。都心に近づいているというのにビルに囲まれた街角には花と緑がやけに映える。リトル東京と車内アナウンスがバラのような声で告げた。お帰りなさいと言われている気がした。理由は明白だ。ここが俺の出生地だから。覚えてることは少ない。まだ人類が命名の国籍を称していた頃、日本人とアメリカ人の血を引く両親は、幼い俺を連れて開拓期の最中にあった火星へと移住した。あの頃は宇宙船の性能も低くて、直行便でも向こうにたどり着くまで3週間近くもかかったんだぜ。片道切符のシャトルの客席で俺は何度も尋ねたっけ。どうして知らないところに行くのと。親父が何と答えたかは忘れてしまった。より良い生活環境だったかもしれない。就職口や経済的な理由だったかもしれない。それとも単なる冒険心か。うまくいきっこないよとへそを曲げる俺におふくろが励ましの声をかけたのを覚えている。向こうにも慣れない場所で頑張っている地球人が大勢いる。みんな助け合って暮らしているのよ。両親は移住先での成功を固くなに信じていた。 どんな困難に見舞われようとも、それだけは決して曲げなかった。何を根拠にそんな確信を抱いていたのかは今もって不明だ。そんな謎を解き明かしたかったのも、今回の旅に俺を駆り立てた動機の一つだ。火星への移住後、地球を訪れるのはこれが2度目だった。5年前、両親が出会ったという思い出の店を訪ねて、俺は家族でこの場所を訪れた。リトル東京に足を踏み入れたおふくろの第一声は、あんなにいた日系人たちはどこへ行ったの？だった。その昔、万単位の日系人がロサンゼルスに暮らしていたという。時代を経て様変わりした街並みに、当時を偲ぶ面影は少ないのだろう。各有両親だって、この地を離れた者のうちに数えられる。社会の変遷を誰も責めることはできないさ。俺は街のシンボルであるファイヤータワーを目印にビレッジプラザへと向かった。前回この街を訪れた時、両親はここで待ち合わせていた祖父母と感動の再会を果たした。俺は祖母がほとんど英語を話さないことに驚いた。昔は大変だったのよと、彼女は笑いながら通訳機越しに答えて、様々な苦労話を聞かせてくれた。笑顔だけが万国共通の言語なのだと教えてくれたっけ。今でこそテクノロジーの進歩によって言葉の壁なんてのは旧世界の遺物と化している。だから異なる言語環境で暮らすなんて想像もつかない。そう思っていた矢先、俺は火星の異星人街でこっぴどい経験をした。地球人への偏見もあっただろう。俺は異星人の経営する店であらぬ窃盗の疑いをかけられたのさ。自分の意思が伝えられない悔しさやもどかしさよりも、誤解を招くかもしれないという恐ろしさに、俺は目の前のすべてを投げ出して地球人居住区に帰りたくなった。それでも踏ん張って危機を脱することができたのは、祖母のあの笑顔を思い出したからかもしれない。忍耐や粘り強さといった精神力は日本から持参したものだろうか。俺もあやかりたいところだ。言語といえば思い出すエピソードがある。学生時代、同級生たちと話をしていた時のことだ。そこには親の都合で火星に一時滞在している子供もいれば、俺のように移民として暮らす子供、友人のように地球に降り立ったことのない子供もいた。彼らが地球に向かう時の言葉を無意識に使い分けているらしいことに俺は気づいた。つまり地球に行く派と帰る派がいたわけだ。そうして俺はいつしか自分が火星をホームと認めているらしいことを知った。移住するまでは縁もゆかりもなかった土地なのに、住めば都なんてよく言ったものさ。そんな記憶を思い巡らせながら、俺は平日午前の閑静なビレッジプラザの散策を始めた。開店時間を迎えたばかりの商店や飲食店の客足はまばらだ。店先で店員同士がお辞儀を交えた挨拶を交わしている。軒先に掲げられた日本語と英語の看板を眺めながら俺は足を進めた。この街で両親が出会わなければ俺は生まれなかっただろう。そんな場所だから整然と並んだ敷石の一枚一枚にさえもどこか厳粛なものを感じた。一つの国の風土に同化した異邦人街は異なる風習と価値観を有する人々が通じ合えた交流の証だ。双方の理解と需要なくしては成り立たなかっただろう。現地人と移民の間に生じる圧力や苦労は俺も知っている。だからこそ文化の垣根を越えて助けてもらった時のありがたさは身に染みてわかる。火星に越してから家族ぐるみで世話になった恩人がいた。義理がたいおふくろは、この恩はいつか必ず返すと感謝の言葉を繰り返したものだ。けれどその度に恩人は首を振ってこう言った。新天地で苦労するのは誰だって同じ。私に恩を返すよりも、これから先、この土地を訪れて困っている人がいたら、ぜひ力になってあげてほしい。なるほどなと俺は思った。新参がどんなに頑張ったところで、先駆者に施せるほど豊かになれるという保証はない。それよりも、助け合いの輪を広げていく方がずっと前向きで堅実だ。 商店街を一巡りした俺は、午後まで時間を過ごせる場所を求めて周囲を見渡した。一人で入店するのはなんとなく気が引けて、後で友人を誘ってみようと、気になる店に目星をつけてから大通りの交差点に戻った。ここが俺の原点であることは事実だ。しかし大いなる発見や啓示を期待してきたわけじゃない。空き時間の気ままな一人旅などこんなものだろう。そんな風に考えながら横断歩道を渡った。前方には大型の建造物が立ちふさがっていた。あれは日系人の歴史博物館であると前に両親から教わっていた。だが過去の出来事には無関心だった俺は広場を通り過ぎ、穏やかな日差しの降り注ぐ展示館を横目にぼんやりと歩き続けた。行き着いた先は星条旗の掲げられた石造りのモニュメントだった。俺は正面に立ってそこに記された碑文を読んだ。第二次世界大戦で活躍した日系人部隊を称える記念碑らしい。石碑は先人への敬意を表して黒く磨き抜かれていた。戦争か。考えるだけで寒気がする。火星に設立された地球の植民地は13基。どこも関税や貿易の取り決めをめぐって地球政府と対立し、その折り合いは年々悪化している。ある時、火星政府の樹立と地球からの独立を支持する論説を読んだ友人がこんな質問を投げかけた。もしも地球と火星が戦争になったら、お前はどっちにつく？わからない、と答えて、俺は肩をすくめた。興味本位で尋ねたのだろうが、俺の胸には不安がよぎった。俺は地球で生まれた地球人か、火星で育った火星人か。友人は言った。ここが僕の故郷だ。有事の時はこの星を守りたい。正直なところ、俺の心は友人への同意に傾いていた。だが地球への郷土愛を忘れない両親の手前、俺は沈黙を通した。その問いは今も生きている。生きて、冷酷かつ切実に、俺の平常心をかき乱すのさ。俺は記念碑を見つめた。かつて同じ問いを自らに向けた人たちがいた。守るべきもの、貫くべきものを選ばなければならなかった人たちが。迷うものもあっただろう。後悔するものも。俺は唐突に会ったこともない戦士たちに親近感を覚えた。歴史なんて教室で習うだけの一言だと思っていた。でもそうではないのかもしれない。人生に正解がないように歴史に答えはないだろう。それでも過去から学べることはあるはずだ。足早に交差点まで戻った俺はいつか隆盛を誇ったその街並みをやや新鮮味を伴う考えに打たれながら眺めた。ヒストリーは彼の物語、ヒズストーリーだって。いや違う。それは遠く過ぎ去った誰かの記録ではなく、今日まで引き継がれ、俺の目の前に確かに息づく、この鮮烈なリアルではないか。多くの日本人や日系人にとって、この街はゴールではなかっただろう。それは出発点であり、中継点であり、終生の拠り所であった。今でも街は、ここから立った人々の心に、思い出に寄り添う。異国の地に築かれた東京は、縁あってそこに集う者を憩わせ、慰め、励まし、各々が模索するアメリカンドリームへの架け橋となって、彼らをさらなる挑戦へと導いた。この街からどんな人々が旅立っていったのだろう。何を求めて、この大陸に横たわる広大な大地を渡っていったのだろう。この地で出会い、空を見上げた両親も同じ意志を抱いていたに違いない。 二人は知っていたのだろう。かつて先人たちが踏みしめた道と、そこに刻まれた困難と成功の軌跡を。だから確信を持って歩き続けることができたのだ。ふるさとを遠く離れた未知なる土地でさえも。不意に気づいた。俺は何も知らないのだ。二人の信念を確たるものにしたであろう彼らの日系たるゆえんを。無知を恥とは思わないさ。だが知ったかぶりなんてかっこつかないだろう。俺は手元のデバイスで時刻を確認すると振り返り、階段の先に悠然と佇む博物館へと歩き始めた。過去を紐解く時間はまだあるはずだ。このリトルタウンの物語を、日系人の歴史を、俺の明日を。
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. My goodness. Melting our hearts over here, man. Come on. Now we bring, as I announced for the first time, our winner of the Japanese writer, Aoi Ushio. All right. Hi, dozo.
Hello, I'm Mina Ogawa. I'm using a pen name Ushio Aoi for my creative works. I am very happy that my short story has been selected for the Japanese category of the contest. First of all, I would like to thank Little Tokyo Historical Society for giving me the opportunity to write this story. I would also like to thank the translator who translated my work into English, and the actor Mr. Takeshima for performing the beautiful reading. I was born in Japan and raised in the United States, but I still can't speak English well. Probably many of the people who live between Japan and this country have the same difficulties due to language and cultural differences. However, I believe it's a common experience that can happen to anyone in the world, regardless of their origins or nationalities. I wanted to write a story that everyone could relate to, even the people from different cultures and backgrounds. In the story, the reader relieves the past situation of Japanese Americans through a traveler from outside the earth, and really discover the present, which directly connected from the past to the future we are building. I hope this story will spark an interest in history in those who read it. Thank you. ありがとうございます。
Okay, on behalf of the Imagine Little Tokyo Short Story Writing Contest Committee, congratulations and thank you again. How else, except through inspired written word, can you connect Mars with Little Tokyo and the past with the future and do it in such a brilliant way? So congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. That was awesome. Now, with over 70 story submissions in the adult English language category, 2 reading teams carefully reviewed these stories, which came from Germany, Japan, Canada, Armenia, Philippines, Nigeria, Slovakia, Mexico, and 5 from India, as well as writers from Boston to Oregon, New York, to North Carolina, Ohio to Washington, and all throughout California. The 11 top stories were given to a talented panel of judges in our final category, the Adult English category. Now, the judges are Scott Shibuya Brown, whose novel includes Story by Erasmus Young and The Traitors, which is the finalist for the William Sorian International Award for Fiction, and Far Afield. He is a former staff journalist for Time Magazine and the Los Angeles Times. His reporting, reviews, and photos have appeared in publications including The Atlantic, the Washington Post. And he lives in LA and plays with punk and punk-inspired bands and is currently working on a novel set in the 1950s Japan. That's incredible. Give him a round of applause. I want to hear some of that music. We also have Nobuko Miyamoto. He's a songwriter, dance, and theater artist, and memoirist who gives voice to the Asian American experience and builds solidarity between cultural boundaries. Dance led to a career on Broadway and in films, and she found her own voice in the 70s, Asian American movement, recording seminal album, A Grain of Sand, with Chris Ijima and Charlie Chin. Nobuko led arts organizations Great Leap. She currently has an album, 120,000 Stories, a memoir, and Not Yo Butterfly, love that, and a PBS documentary, Nobuko Miyamoto, A Song in Movement. Please give her a round of applause. We also have DC Palter. He's the author of the mystery novels, including two set in San Jose's Japantown, as well as a guide to the Kansei dialect of Japanese, published by Tuttle. He's editor-in-chief of Japonica, a journal of Japanese culture, and together with his wife, he is a past winner of the Imagine Little Tokyo contest for stories in both English and Japanese. That's incredible. He was a startup founder and venture investor with 25 years experience leading tech companies. Round of applause for DC. All right. We're rounding out here. The honorable mention in the adult category is Divided by Alison Akiko McBain, whose novels are the recipients of over 13 awards, including the Forward Indies. When not writing, Miss McBain is the associate editor for the magazine Scribes Micro. While she looks back with fondness on her time growing up in California, she now lives in Alberta, Canada. Congratulations to you. That's amazing. Okay, the winning story in the adult category. It's going to be read by Ji-young Yoo, who is named, this is going to be awesome. I'm really excited to introduce her. She was named by Variety magazine as one of their top 10 actors to watch in 2023. The same year, she won the best performance in a U.S. narrative feature at the Tribeca Film Festival for her portrayal of Ha-young, a lonely 16-year-old Korean-American girl staggered by the separation of her parents in So Young Shelley Yo's directorial debut, Smoking Tigers. You also starred alongside, get this, Nicole Kidman in Amazon Prime Video's 6-part limited series Expats from writer-director Lulu Wang, The Farewell, for which she earned a Gotham TV Award nomination in 2024 for Outstanding Performance in a Limited Series. And this year, I'm really excited about this project. This year, she can be seen in the edgy 80s action thriller Freaky Tales alongside all-star cast, including Pedro Pascal and Jay Ellis, Until Dawn, the feature adaptation of the PlayStation game Namesake, and she's going to voice the leading role in a Netflix and Sony Picture Animation's K-pop Demon Hunters, an animated feature following a K-pop group who use their secret identities as demon hunters to protect their fans from supernatural danger. Give it up for Ji-young Yoo. And her parents are here. They flew in from Colorado. They're out there. We give them a shout out up at the top over there. I see you guys. We also have Satsuki Yamashita Satsuki Yamashita has won the top honor in the adult category with Fall 7 times. Satsuki Yamashita's parents were Little Tokyo residents for many years, and Satsuki visited them weekly. She has a degree from Washington University in St. Louis and worked in the advertising industry. These days, she keeps busy with travel, writing classes, and her neighborhood walking group. That's adorable. Judges Scott Shibuya Brown and Nobuko Miyamoto, they're going to talk about the adult story submissions and their selection of Fall 7 times. Will you please come on up? There you are.
From here or here? Whichever you choose. Okay.
Wow. It's such an honor to be part of this event. When Mia asked me to read some stories, I had no idea the scope and the depth of what I would be reading and what I would be part of. Imagine is a great word for this storytelling event, and now we need imagining more than ever. We are living in a world that we have to imagine different ways of changing. And so these stories are really more than just stories. These stories are keeping us alive. These stories are making us look at the future. And so it's really an honor to be part of this and to be learning from these judges that I was with. It was really fun and challenging and a beautiful way to go deeper into writing, which is, I feel like I'm just a beginner, really, writing my first book. So thank you so much, everybody, for participating. The courage and the beauty of telling your own story right now, here and now, is so important. Thank you for doing that.
On behalf of Noble and DC, I'd like to express our appreciation to the LTHS for the opportunity to judge the adult English category. Thanks for trusting us. As someone whose memories of Little Tokyo go back more than half a century, I was struck by how many of the entries for this category reminded me of the well-known quote from one of my all-time favorite novels. The quote is from a novel called The Leopard, and it's uttered by one of the younger protagonists who looks around at the times around him and says, "If things are to remain the same, everything has to change." And that's a big statement, because the book then takes on the question, well, how much needs changing? Does that really mean everything? And what will be the cost of those changes? And maybe what we're trying to preserve here won't even survive those events. Many of this year's finalist stories not only address these questions, but also the characters' struggles to preserve their values and traditions after their circumstances do change. Which brings me to the winner of the Adult English Story Competition, Fall 7 Times. A story that's not only about confronting everyday challenges with resilience and fortitude, but also how to do so when those challenges seem overwhelming and come unexpectedly. The saying, "Nana korobi ya oki," is a time-honored proverb, and Fall 7 Times is a testament to the simple act of getting up every day and finding ways to preserve those things most valuable to us, especially when their loss is irretrievable or inevitable. In the words of one of the judges, Fall 7 Times is a story told with hope, humanity, and wonderful touches of humor that make it a pleasure to read. It felt like a lived experience. Overall, Fall 7 Times, which connects this year's wildfires with the care of an aging grandparent, tells us several things about how to endure in spirit when what we have around us disappears and all we have left is belief, about how memory, even in the hands of an unreliable, dementia-afflicted Obasan, can still be a powerful and indestructible force despite all the decades, and perhaps most of all, about how the many small and daily acts we perform to sustain our history and culture can be just as significant as any monument we build to honor such. So it was a pleasure for us to award this story.
You guys ready for this awesome performance? We're gonna have Ji-young Yoo come on up here and please read this amazing story. It's
You have to build it up like that, but thank you for coming. I just want to say before I read, I am Korean, if it wasn't obvious from my name, so I apologize for any lackluster Japanese pronunciation, especially since apparently we have a lot of folks from Japan watching. Great. Yeah, uchi no oyome-san ne. I sigh. My 90-year-old grandma, or Ba-chan as we called her, was at it again. Her dementia-fogged mind confused me with my mother, the one she called oyome-san, daughter-in-law.
because my mom had married Ba-chan's first son. It is the first son's duty to care for his mother. That is how Ba-chan had come to live with my parents. And after she outlived both of them, it was my duty as their only child to take over caring for Ba-chan. Not that I minded. My parents left me the house where they and Ba-chan had raised me, where Ba-chan had lived since the 60s. My parents also left me their business in Little Tokyo, the Saitama dry goods store, which is where we are now. There is no one I can leave Ba-chan with while I work, so I have no choice but to bring her with me. The Little Tokyo Seniors Walking Group, which is 90% ladies, walk every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and drop in for ocha, green tea, and gossip. And my Ba-chan delights in telling the old ladies how the oyome-san, me, doesn't feed her again. It doesn't matter that I provide Ba-chan with 3 nutritious, heart-healthy meals and 2 snacks every day. She forgets almost immediately after eating. It doesn't matter that I tell the walking group ladies this fact every time. Someone always gives me a resentful look and slips a mandarin orange, a manju, Japanese sweet treat, or senbei, rice cracker, into Ba-chan's pocket. I feel like I need to make Ba-chan wear a sign around her neck, a sign in both Japanese and English that says, "Do not feed." Ba-chan is hard-headed and stubborn. More flattering souls would call her strong and determined. She had to be, raising 3 kids under the age of 5 by herself in the camps. Growing up, I remember she never took any nonsense from us grandkids. Her favorite word was, and still is, "Kora!" which translates to hey or hey you, but in reality meant one thing: you are in trouble. Her kora rang out almost daily whenever my cousins and I got together after school at home in Altadena. She was the neighborhood's free daycare while our parents were out earning a living. My youngest cousin Makoto, got yelled at the most. Ba-chan used to chase him around the house brandishing a rolled up newspaper. Now I feel like I'm the one running the daycare and Ba-chan is the one to whom I want to yell kora. Ba-chan has a mouth full of gold and silver fillings that remind me of a Bond villain. Her thinning white hair is tucked in a neat bun at the back of her head, and she invariably wears shapeless black-gray dresses that show off her stout calves and her tabi socks. I can always tell when she's near because she wears eau de salon pass, the menthol-reeking, medicated plasters I buy in bulk at Costco for her. When the senior walkers are gone, I successfully fish out a paper-wrapped red bean pastry from Ba-chan's pocket as my cousins Mac and Ken arrive. They're old men now, and Ba-chan has trouble recognizing the somber professional Mac with the skinny imp she used to chase around the house with her rafu newspaper. We're all going to help distribute boxes of food for the Altadena fire victims. Mac and Ken were lucky; their houses were undamaged. I suppose I'm somewhat lucky, if that makes any sense. I'm unlucky because my home is gone, but I'm also fortunate that I still have the tiny apartment above the store to live in. We don't need to stay at a shelter or crowd a relative's home, and I still have the means to earn money and buy food. So I'm luckier than some, unluckier than others. I lock up the storefront while Ken and Mac help Ba-chan with her walker. She tells my cousins her tale of woe that I'm not feeding her, but they're on to her. The cousins wink at me and cough to cover their laughter. We walk across the busy street to the temple. We're headed to the basement, but Ba-chan speeds her walker into the main hall before we can stop her. She goes to the front platform where she says her Namu Amida Butsu prayers. I sigh and drag Mac and Ken to her side. We mimic Ba-chan's prayers and put some small bills into the collection box. After, we make it to the basement where the volunteers are already at work. I situate Ba-chan and her walker into a chair along the side of the room, admonishing Mac and Ken to keep an eye on her. The men are assigned to distribute the heavier cases of water and canned goods. I get assigned to distribute instant ramen packets. After the war, Altadena was one of the few neighborhoods that allowed minorities like Japanese Americans to settle. We, along with our mainly immigrant neighbors, grew up and went to school there. My parents enrolled me in Japanese language classes at the local temple. I wasn't a good student. But between her broken English and my third grade level Japanese comprehension, Bachan and I can mostly understand each other. And I can converse with the Japanese tourists looking for Otani merchandise and quote them the special inflated for tourist pricing. Thank goodness for Otani. He is the reason the store is still in the black. Saitama Dry Goods started out selling cheap Japanese tchotchkes, taking advantage of favorable exchange rates and catering to American tourists. In the 70s, my mom added a small ramen counter. And with the rising popularity of ramen soup, the small counter expanded to take over most of the space. People used to line up outside waiting for our famous tonkotsu ramen, but since my mom's passing in COVID, I've been struggling to keep the business afloat. If I had to sell the space, I'd be fine. I'm confident I would be able to get a job in retail or maybe finally make use of my degree in finance. But it would mean Bachan would have to go to an adult daycare at minimum, a senior living facility at worst. Bachan would hate it, and I'm certain I'd earn myself a bachi, a retribution from God for such an act. Still, my neighbor Mrs. Fan found Bachan wandering down the street one morning in her jinbei, the old-fashioned cotton kimono top and short pants she wore as pajamas. I didn't even know she'd left the house. Kenny came over right away and installed a motion detector and baby monitor in her bedroom, but I worried that Bachan would get to the point where I wasn't able to take care of her alone anymore. I finished putting a couple of packets of instant ramen into a young woman's box, and when I look up, I see that Bachan is no longer sitting where I left her. Kenny, where's Bachan? He flips his head around and eyes the vacant chair. Mac does the same. I ask one thing, just one, I mutter at them, and then go in search of my errant grandmother. I find her in line, empty cardboard box in hand. She is chatting with a young man who must be a reverend, conspicuous in his timeless saffron robes, shaved head, and tabi socks. I hurry towards her, hoping against hope that she is not telling him how I forgot to feed her. Sumimasen, I apologize, bowing, trying desperately to remember the word for reverend in Japanese. I have no idea how to tell him Bachan has dementia. I speak English. He pronounces the L like an R deliberately. I like him immediately. Oh, thank God. Buddha. He laughs. My Bachan has Alzheimer's. I don't know what she told you, but I feed her 5 times a day. My words are rushed, but I have to get them out before he thinks the worst of me. He's a reverend, after all. He has a direct line to Buddha. I'm pretty sure he'll order another bachi on me if he thinks I mistreat my Bachan. Ah, that explains things, he nods. She is in the middle of explaining how she is grateful we provide shelter for her and her children. Bachan nods and continues to talk in rapid-fire Japanese that I have no hope of understanding. The reverend lowers his voice to me. We have not provided shelter since the war. I believe she thinks we're back in the 1940s. I'm so sorry. I bow and apologize. Come on, Bachan. I tug her sleeve. No, the Reverend says gently. I would like to hear what she has to say. It's like a history lesson. Fascinating. Fascinating is not a word I associate with Bachan. Exasperating pain in the is more like it. I feel a sense of shame that I do not value my Bachan like the Reverend seems to. We find a quiet corner, and the 3 of us sit. Bachan continues to talk. The Reverend provides translation. For the first time, I'm able to see the woman she was, how they were held at the Santa Anita racetrack, lived in a horse stall for a week, how her husband was sent to the Santa Fe camp while she and the kids went to Manzanar, how she never saw her husband again, how she returned from the camps to find her little Tokyo home in ruins. Nana korobi yaoki, she says. I'd heard that phrase before. Bachan chants it at funerals and sometimes shouts it for no reason that I can tell. It was probably some kind of prayer to Buddha. What does that mean? Whatever. Nana korobi yaoki. The Reverend repeats the syllables slowly. It is an old samurai proverb. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. I decide to put Bachan to work, between Ken and myself doling out oranges. She's good at it, offering her Nanakorobi proverb to all those who understand her. And I watch as some walk away with a nod and tears in their eyes. I think about the words and understand them now. We are resilient. We will endure. And later that day, I take Bachan with me back to Altadena to get a first look at the smoldering pile of ashes that used to be our home. We stand side by side looking at the rubble. Nanakorobi yaoki. Fall 7 times, stand up 8, I tell her. Bachan smiles, flashing her gold and silver teeth. She pats my arm. Oyome-san, you forget feed me. Thank you.
Yes, amazing. Please, let's give it up to the writer, Satsuki Yamashita. Come on, is she here? Hey, Satsuki. Yes. Please, let's give it up to Satsuki. Amazing story. Congratulations. Stand here or there? Here's better. Here's way cooler.
Thank you. 11 years ago, is it 12 years ago? I entered the very first Imagine Little Tokyo contest. And I received a strongly worded email from Bill Watanabe urging me to attend. In those days, that time, they didn't tell you if you won or not. So I had no idea. And I just showed up, and I found out I won 3rd place. So, and then they told me to come up and give a speech. And I had no idea. I didn't have anything prepared. So I said thank you about 20 times, and that was it. But not this time. I'm so grateful for everyone who took the time to come and listen to the reading of my short story. I also wanted to express my sincere appreciation to Ji-young Yoo for her marvelous performance. I think it's every writer's dream to see their words come to life, and today you made my dream come true. My parents were longtime residents of Little Tokyo, and I spent many weekends wandering its 5 city blocks. Over the years, I've witnessed the ever-evolving landscape and the slow, gradual shift in the community. The older generation, the Bachans and Ji-chans of my youth, are slowly passing away. And now, I find myself stepping into their shoes, carrying forward their legacy. That's why I'm so grateful to the Little Tokyo Historical Society, along with organizations like JANM and the Discover NIKKEI project. They preserve the history and the spirit of Little Tokyo and the Japanese American community, ensuring that future generations can appreciate and learn from our shared heritage. Last fall, I decided to take a writing class at my local senior center, where I met Carrie Hawthorne. Is she here? Oh. She has an MFA and has authored multiple published works. She's a gifted teacher who encouraged me and supported me, and she gave me the lift that I needed to take a leap of faith and enter this contest. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you again to the judges and the Little Tokyo Historical Society for this honor. I'm humbled and truly appreciative. Thank you.
It's tricky because it doesn't look like a button up here. So anyway, congratulations for your wonderful short story. You actually exemplified falling 7 times and getting up 8 to win the contest. So congratulations and thank you.
It takes a village. Please show your love as we acknowledge all those who helped bring the program together. We have 2 final book giveaways. But yes, we'd like to thank Imagine Little Tokyo partners, Janum and Discover NIKKEI. Please give a shout out to Little Tokyo Historical Society's Imagine Little Tokyo Committee. Let's hear that shout out. There it is. Please give a shout out to our talented actors, judges, and especially your MC. It's written. It's written. And give a special thanks to our donors. While the 3 donor slides are shown, hey, that's me. We'll talk about them. Where are those donor slides at? There's everybody that we're just giving shout outs to, right? And our donors. Now, this contest, which began as a seed of an idea by Bill Watanabe, is run by volunteers. It is funded only through donations. So if these stories, they move or entertain you, please leave a donation in our donation jar. That's not this. And consider giving through Little Tokyo Historical Society website, www.littletokyohs.org. That's org. A theme touched upon by many of our stories illustrates the challenge of Little Tokyo legacy businesses, residents, and workers in the face of gentrification, rising rents, and the struggle to preserve the cultural integrity of Little Tokyo. Last year, Little Tokyo was designated by the National Trust of Historic Preservation as one of America's 11 most endangered historic places. Please, please, please support Little Tokyo. Stay for dinner at any of our great restaurants right next door in the Little Tokyo Plaza or anywhere here next. We're very, very honored and happy to have you all. Awesome. Congratulations to the raffle winners. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you all for coming out. Meet and mingle. Naomi and Mia, thank you both for putting this together. Thank you so much. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you for everyone coming. Meet and mingle again with the writers, judges, actors. Enjoy some world-famous mochi from our 103-year-old Little Tokyo legacy business, Fugetsu Do. It's going to be a wonderful appetizer just out front. There's going to be a table where you can get signed books from some of your authors and judges. And remember, support Little Tokyo. Please stick around, have dinner in any one of the excellent restaurants in Little Tokyo today. They're all in walking distance. Can we have the actors and judges? And what are you doing?
I'm just going to say, isn't he great? I mean, the best. Christopher Sham.
Jeez, you can keep your money. Keep your money. Now, can we have all the actors, judges, the winners, all for photos come down, the committee, the co-chairs, the amazing Bill Watanabe. Everyone, please come on up here. Let's get a photo up front, please.